YouTube, how's it going? The Goat House is back, and today I'm ranking the top 10 best offensive trios for the 2020 NFL season, looking at quarterback, running back, and the best receiver option, and picking the 10 best teams. I actually did 11. We have a sleeper in there, but the best teams in that category, I'm going to rank them. You guys can play along in the comments. We'll do more videos like these. Appreciate the support. We recently had 50K. We're going to keep on grinding, keep on growing here. Please help us out by trying to reach 50K on our second channel. More content coming to that in the future, so please subscribe to both. Follow that Twitter. Keep you guys updated there. We have polls that involve you guys in future content. If you want to partake in Terrible Take Tuesday, that is a spot to do it. There's a link down in the description for that Twitter, the second channel, and the podcast. We're on Spotify and Apple, so any link that you need will be down in the description, the comments. So like I said, I got a sleeper. Before we get in the top 10, I got a sleeper team that I strongly consider, maybe people are a little low on, perhaps in this category. That's Cincinnati Bengals. So they didn't make the top 10. They're just outside. They're a big-time sleeper and can be a top 10 in this category for this 2020 season. I mean, if you're not considering the offensive line, which could be the problem with the Bengals, I suppose, in terms of their offense, in terms of their season. But just look at the quarterback, running back, and best receiver option. I'm going Joe Burrow, Joe Mixon, and Tyler Boyd here. I think it's a really good group. Burrow, there's other sleepers we can do. I like the Broncos, Drew Lock, and then whatever running back you want to choose, then Cortland Sutton. The Cardinals, Kyler Murray, even got DeAndre Hopkins. Those are other good sleeper options as well. And you look at all those second-year, third-year quarterbacks. But what about Joe Burrow here? He is that good. I think he still got to prove himself. Still got to go through that rookie, adjustment period. But he's that good where maybe I trust him actually a little more than the rookies last year, the rookies year before. Joe Mixon's a fantastic running back. Was in a great draft class of running backs. Hasn't had the help maybe that the other running backs have that they had. And Tyler Boyd improving every single year. Now Joe Burrow in the mix for him. I think they complement each other very well. Tyler Boyd's going to be like Joe Burrow's Justin Jefferson, a polished NFL version, that slot receiver that really could do it all, can play outside as well. I think he's going to get a ton of production. So you kind of take away the offensive line, look at these weapons, look at the trio, the big three. It's pretty good for the Bengals. Pretty damn good. So they got a bright future. But out of the top 10, number 10 for me is going to be the Buccaneers. I guess the running back is what kind of weighs them down here. I'm looking for, somewhat of balance, but obviously you can make the rankings if you have Tom Brady, guy like Mike Evans or Chris Godwin. But maybe why they're not towards the top, because the running back of either Keyshawn Vaughn or Ronald Jones. I'm actually going to go Keyshawn Vaughn. I think maybe a little more shifty of a Sony Michel for Tom Brady here. And they drafted him a little earlier than expected, so they may have plans for him. It's the running back that Arians has picked. It's his running back. So I think he maybe won't start week one, but could be their best back down the stretch. But if this was a trio where you can just pick any three skill position players, so it doesn't have to be a running back, you can go tight end, you can go the other receiver, then the Buccaneers may be number one. They're towards the top, whether you're choosing Gronk or Chris Godwin. But the trio here is Tom Brady, Keyshawn Vaughn, Mike Evans. Chris Godwin, I think, will have more production this year. He'll have more production. It's an easier target, easier to get open. I think he'll kind of mesh well with Tom Brady, so he might get more production. But I think Mike Evans still overall the better receiver. We haven't really seen Tom Brady with the Mike Evans. We've seen him with Gronk, that big body, contested catch targets. Now a more athletic version of that. So what could come from this? Maybe some special things here. So you can throw Chris Godwin in there. You can throw Ronald Jones, the running back. But the Buccaneers are going to come in at number 10. Again, the running game kind of knocks them down, but they still make the list. Number 9 is going to be the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson at quarterback, Mark Ingram at running back. They got a great running back room now, so you can put a number of guys there. And you could throw your tight end there, Mark Andrews, but I want Marquise Brown. I think more of a threat, more of a weapon, second year, the speedster. I think it would be big time for them. And so they make the list. Maybe why they're not at the top of the list, even though, Mark Ingram, Marquise Brown, some big-time players, good players, Lamar Jackson could carry this group a little bit. I want to see a little more balance, even though it's pretty balanced. That's why they're in the top 10. There's 32 NFL teams. There's a insane amount of different combinations you can create with this exercise with these trios. So they do make number 9 a very good group. But yeah, maybe Jackson carrying it a little bit, so that's why they're at 9. Number 8 is going to be the Tennessee Titans, a really balanced group, I'd say. Ryan Tannehill, I guess what to expect from Ryan Tannehill. We see a small sample size, but I expect he can play at a pretty high level, continue to play that, because he kind of just got in the mix there and was really playing well with these, the talented guys around him. So Tannehill, Derrick Henry being one of the best backs in football, and A.J. Brown, who was my Rookie of the Year pick, was outstanding once Tannehill came in. And remember, A.J. Brown was a little slow to start early in the year. I think he had one really good game at Mariota. I think it was a Falcons game, and then he really got going. That's just his rookie year. So this trio is really going to get going. It's a really balanced trio. The standout guy being Derrick Henry, but a really balanced trio there. Number 7, pretty much in the same boat. It's going to be the Minnesota Vikings. Kirk Cousins, pretty consistent and improved last year. So we'll see if he can take another step up this year. That'd be pretty impressive. I guess the question with this group is health, because Dalvin Cook, we know, is a top-tier back, has elite traits. That's if he's healthy. As of right now, he's healthy. And Adam Thielen, health was never a concern until last year. But yeah, I think pretty similar to the Titans. Cousins, Tannehill, pretty similar in terms of talent. Want to see more from Tannehill, of course. Cook and Henry. Cook probably the better overall traits, but then the health comes into question, so they're pretty close. And then Thielen maybe gets the edge over A.J. Brown. So pretty good balanced group here from the Vikings. Maybe Justin Jefferson. I'm kind of predicting Justin Jefferson maybe to actually get more receptions, more targets than Adam Thielen, but Adam Thielen's still kind of that better option, of course. We'll see what he does down the stretch, or maybe in the playoff game. But about staying healthy, mainly for Dalvin Cook there. But they do have a really good backup at Alexander Mattison, which probably could get them close to this list, even if it was with him. Number 6 on the top trios list is going to be the Falcons. Matt Ryan. The question, can he go back to the MVP form? It'll be tough to do. I thought he was a little sloppy last year. I think that kind of goes unnoticed. Earlier in the year, struggled early in games. That kind of dug them a hole. So he needs to play better, but still a really good quarterback, and I expect to play better this year. You had Todd Gurley. Yeah, what Todd Gurley are you going to get? Best running back in football, Todd Gurley from a couple years ago, which was, I think, hands down the best back in football, or the kind of beat up Todd Gurley. But yeah, I guess the question goes into the Falcons' offensive line as well, because it struggled the last 2 years, but I expect it to be better because they drafted last year. They drafted a couple guys last year. They're a little beat up this year as well. So I expect to be better, and definitely better than what the Rams had. Gurley kind of getting hit in the backfield a lot, so I think he could be better. And then Julio Jones definitely helps this list, even though Matt Ryan and Todd Gurley are good enough to make the list as well. But Julio Jones, kind of being one of the top receivers in the game, kind of helps them in this case here. So number 6 for the Falcons. Number 5 is going to be the Dallas Cowboys. Got Dak Prescott, still not in his prime. Quarterback prime is kind of around 30, maybe even older, and he's still getting there. And he had a big, he had, I guess the games where they were a little sloppy, but he had a pretty impressive overall season last year, and I think he's going to continue to get better. He's got to. Hopefully they get a contract agreed upon there. But, yeah, Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott, maybe not, considered an elite running back for sure at the top a couple years ago. Maybe right there with Todd Gurley like we just talked about. Maybe not quite up there, but I think close enough to where he's still a top back for sure. And then you got Amari Cooper, of course. And you actually can slide CeeDee Lamb in here, and I don't think there's that much change. I like CeeDee Lamb even in his first year that much, especially with the weapons around him. So it's a really good balanced trio here. For the Cowboys. Could they be even better with Mike McCarthy calling plays? I think so. I don't see why not. So that lands them in the top 5. Number 4, I think the top 4 are really close. You almost got to split hairs to split these groups up. But number 4 is going to be the Green Bay Packers. Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Jones, 2 Aarons there, Devontae Adams. A really good trio, really good balance. It's tough because last year the offense didn't do a whole bunch. It felt like Aaron Jones almost not quite carried, but pretty close, which is surprising, given the other talent they have. So maybe, based on last year, it's tough to put him up to 4, but that's last year. This is this year. I think, you forget that Devontae Adams missed some time last year. He was even playing unhealthy at times, in my opinion. There's rumors that Aaron Rodgers was playing, kind of beat up as well. So these guys could actually have an even better season, which you would hope, because it was good enough last year, but you actually would like it better, and you expect you better could happen, and that's why they're in the top 5 here. Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Jones, Devontae Adams. Aaron Jones had a career year last year. Can continue that. We'll see what they do with A.J. Dillon, because they drafted him pretty early, but this is their big 3. I guess the question could be held too, because you've seen Aaron Rodgers beat up in the past and Devontae Adams beat up last year, but you expect these guys to be healthy, and if all 3 are fully healthy, that just gets more help for each one of them. So they're at number 4 there. Number 3 is, again, really close, really tough. It's going to be the New Orleans Saints. Drew Brees at quarterback, Alvin Kamara, and Michael Thomas. Yeah, really good, and that's why they're number 3. A really good and balanced group. And we're talking about top tier here. I guess there's a couple questions here. Maybe what's splitting up 1 and 2 is the quarterback play. Drew Brees still a top-tier quarterback, but maybe the top 2 kind of separates themselves a little bit. Question of Alvin Kamara, and you guys know I'm a big Alvin Kamara guy. Was high out of him out of Tennessee. Last year, a little scary, though. I'm not super worried, but last year, the question, was he playing hurt? Why were they playing him then if he was? And he just didn't look right. A lot of the times it looked like Latavius Murray was better than him, which is not actually the case, but it looked that way at times. So there is some questions there. Michael Thomas being possibly the best receiver in the game definitely helps it, but being a very balanced group. So hoping to see Kamara step back up this year, which I had put money on, and he probably does. We probably see the Kamara that we know and love there. So that's number 3. Number 2 is going to be the Seattle Seahawks. Russell Wilson being an elite quarterback, top-tier quarterback, definitely helps their case. Chris Carson, to me, this is where people may disagree with me. I think Chris Carson is one of the more underrated players in all of football. And when we're talking about these units, we're talking about them on their team as well. What I mean by that, I think Chris Carson is a perfect running back to make the Seattle Seahawks, game work, their game plan work. They like to pound the football, wear the team out, and then kind of unleash Russell Wilson second half. Chris Carson's the perfect role for that. And the big body break tackles type running backs that actually work in today's game, very limited amount of them, very impressive. Chris Carson, Derrick Henry, there's very few of them. So Chris Carson, and remember, this is only going to be his 3rd full year as the full-time starter. It's going to be his 4th year, but the 3rd full year as the full-time starter. Very impressive. And Tyler Lockett being a top-tier receiver. I mean, you can even put DK Metcalf in here too. Impressive rookie season. He actually can be special, and we all know that. So I think a really balanced and having Russell Wilson a top-tier guy, and I think Chris Carson. And you worry about the injury of Chris Carson. It was a hip injury. He decided not to have the surgery, I believe. So that's going to be something we can monitor, to see we can check out. But I like Chris Carson a lot. I was high on him at Oklahoma State coming out too. But I think it's pretty underrated. But I think he just fits this offense, so much. If he was on another team, maybe he wouldn't be that good. But it's still it's the unit, it's the team here. And then number 1 is going to be the Chiefs. Having the best quarterback in football, maybe the best player in football, Patrick Mahomes. Clyde Edwards-Helaire at running back, who is my number 1 back. And then Tyreek Hill, you could go Travis Kelce here. And maybe people may not like that I have rookies in here. Have Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and how you look at the other running backs in the last couple groups. You look at Chris Carson, you look at Alvin Kamara, you look at Aaron Jones. Like, how are you comparing those? And that's a good point. Those guys in general are better. But again, kind of like my point with Chris Carson, put them on their team that they play for. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is going to be a dominant factor on the Chiefs' offense. He probably wouldn't be as good. Flip Kamara. This is an example. Flip Kamara and Edwards-Helaire. I think Kamara probably looks better. Edwards-Helaire probably doesn't look as good as what he's going to look on the Chiefs. But at the end of the day, this is his team. This is the unit. This is the trio. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is going to be absolutely dominant in the perfect fit, and he's a very good running back on top of it, but going to be absolutely dominant in the speed of Tyreek Hill, obviously, which we've seen on the field to with Mahomes. But you can throw Travis Kelce in here as well. But this is number 1 for me. I think it's just a really good fits. The play shows on the field, and having some top-tier talent here, Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, health. Like I said, really the top 4 you can argue. Maybe 3 you can argue for number 1 spot. So, and there's other teams that just missed the cut. We talk about the Steelers. You worry about health with them. The Eagles. Carson Wentz could step up a little bit, stay healthy. Miles Sanders need to see more from. Then Ertz would probably be their receiving option there. Yeah, I like the sleepers. I talked about the Bengals was my number one sleeper in the beginning of the video. The Broncos I like in that category. The Cardinals I like in that category is a lot. The Bills maybe need to see a little more from Josh Allen, Devin Singletary. They add Stephon Diggs to the mold. There's a lot of teams. I mean, the Texans can still be considered as well. Deshaun Watson's that good. David Johnson, and then maybe Brandon Cooks or Will Fuller. I mean, that's a pretty good trio. So teams like that, and there's more, but that just missed the cut. So pretty tough, but we can do more videos like this. You know, like I said, it would have been a little different if we didn't have to include the running back. It could be, you know, maybe the Chiefs and the Bucks probably battle for the top spot. You know, Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, and Travis Kelce versus, you know, the Bucks, Tom Brady, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, or you can Gronk, obviously, instead of somebody, Godwin or Evans in there. So it would actually look a little different, but we can do this for defense as well. Suggestions in the comments, your thoughts in the comments, always appreciated. We're going to do all kinds of ranking prediction videos for the NFL season. All that is coming leading up to the season there, then all kinds of full predictions, picks during the season, so I cannot wait for that. Hopefully you can join us. Hopefully you can subscribe to both channels. Turn notifications on. Click that like button. Check us out on Twitter. Any link that you need will be down below, description, comments. That is going to do it for this one. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.